Channel Japan.
Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Mai Demizu.
And I'm Nozomu Kitadai.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from a studio here in Tokyo. From the economy to culture and even food, if you want to know what's happening in Japan, this is where you find it. First up is Channel Japan Ranking, in which we rank some of the hottest products and services across the country. Today we'll be showing you a ranking of top ramen shops in Japan. Ramen or soup noodles are considered national dish, and there are said to be about 80,000 ramen specialty restaurants across the country.
Ramen was originally brought to Japan from China, but have evolved into a unique culinary culture over the century. Several ramen chains have opened up branches in Asia, including China and Malaysia.
So which are the most popular ramen shops in Japan? Have a look.
Channel Japan Ranking. In Japan, one dish always places high in food rankings. Ramen. Ramen are wheat noodles in a warm soup, usually with a soy sauce or salt flavor. They come with a variety of toppings, such as egg, pork, long onions, and fermented bamboo shoots. There are 80,000 or so ramen shops across the country, many of which are packed with customers year-round. One man has eaten at over 6,000 of them.
今日はよろしくお願いします。
33-year-old Hayato Ishiyama. He's written 20 guidebooks on ramen shops and is regarded as an expert on the subject.
日本にはバラエティに富んだたくさんの美味しいラーメン店があるんです。早速行ってみましょう。
So this time we introduce the top 5 ramen recommended by a ramen expert. At number 5.
まず私が、おすすめする1軒目はこちら鉄砲さんです。早速伺いましょう。
We arrive at a shop called Muteppo near Shinjuku. First, we buy a ticket from the vending machine
じゃあお願いします。
and then take a seat.
はい。
麺の硬さとかスープの濃さとか、
そうですね
ネギの量とか、
はい、麺の硬さは普通で、
はい
スープがこってりで、ネギ多めでお願いします。
はい、わかりました。
Here, you can choose the hardness of the noodles, thickness of the soup, and the amount of toppings that you want to make your own original ramen. And the biggest feature is
こちらが私がおすすめします日本一濃厚とも言われます豚骨ラーメンですね。
this is what our ramen expert recommends: pork bone broth ramen. This ramen has a soup made from stewed crushed pork bones. Kept over the fire for 24 hours, the bones melt, creating a rich soup. The noodles are boiled and put into the soup and topped with pork, long onions, and seaweed. So, how does it taste?
濃厚。いやー、ほんと豚の旨味が溶け込んでますよね。すごい濃縮されてます。麺の滑らかな麺肌があるからこそスープが絡みすぎず絡まなすぎず美味しい麺です。
What's more,
このチャーシューもすごいトロットロで美味しそうですよね。この濃厚なスープを邪魔しないようしっかり計算されたこのサイズになってます。替え玉ですよね。
Mr. Ishiyama finishes his meal and
じゃあ替え玉お願いします。はい、ありがとうご
the
ざいます。
shop attendant brings over
はい、
お待たせしました。
スープとよく絡めて食べてください。来ましたね。
At this shop, you can order extra noodles for about $1. And for the second serving,
こちらトッピングがたくさんありますので自分流にカスタマイズして食べたいと思います。
in Japan, many shops offer free toppings, such as pickled leaf mustard, sesame and red ginger, allowing customers to adjust the taste to their liking.
ごまの香ばしさと高菜の辛みがこの豚骨スープとの相性バッチリですね。
At number 4,
では行ってみましょ
next we arrive at Gogyo near Roppongi. So, what does our expert recommend?
お待たせいたしました。チャーシュー焦がし味噌ラーメンでございます。
はい、ありがとうございます。
お気をつけくだ
う。
さい。
はい。いやー、真っ黒ですね。
This is his recommendation: miso ramen. Miso is made from salted and fermented soybeans. It is a traditional Japanese seasoning. But why is the soup black?
味噌を焦がしてるからこういう風な黒いスープになるんです。
Here, they blend several types of miso and fry it on high heat in lard. They say that maximizes the flavor and taste. So, what about the taste?
本当にいっぱいいっぱい中華鍋でこのスープを焦がすから味噌の風味がふわっと広がる香ばしい味噌ラーメンに仕上がってますね。麺がしっかりと締まって歯ごたえが強くて口の中にスープを運んでくれますね。結構分厚い豚バラ肉になりますね。煮込みすぎてないのですごい豚の弾力が残っていて豚の脂の甘みがこのチャーシューの旨味を引き立てるんですよね。
Another reason why this shop has become popular is the wide variety of side dishes. One of their top recommendations is
こちらごまきゅうになりますね。
this is called goma Q. It's made from salted and pickled cucumbers covered with sesame oil and is said to have a refreshing taste. So how is it?
ラーメンのですね口直しになるんです。で私も来るたびに注文する人気メニューになりますね。
It's said to be popular among customers as a way to cleanse their palate after the meal. At number 3,
続いてご紹介するのは一風変わったラーメンになるんですがこちら空の色さんになりますね。
in search of a unique ramen, we arrive at Sora no Iro near Akasaka. So what does it look like?
失礼いたしました。ベジそばです。
ありがとうございます。
はい、どうぞ。
うわー見てください。
This is it, veggie soba.
このねスープ見ていただいてこのオレンジ色なんですが実はこちら人参なんです。
The soup is made by blending carrots, which are stewed in a soup together with chicken and pork bones and sardines. It's a Western style of ramen. There are various toppings, such as pork, boiled eggs, paprika, broccoli, and cabbage. And the taste?
染みますね。人参がベースなんですがすごいもう人参の甘みうまみが引き出された上品なスープになりますね。見てくださいこのオレンジ色の麺。これ実はねパプリカの粉が練り込まれたオリジナルの麺になるんですけどパスタのような平打ち麺ですごいもちっとした食感が特徴ですね。
It has a lighter taste than typical ramen and is said to be a hit with women.
野菜の味がしっかりしてて甘いんですよね。だからすごく食べやすくって私は大好きです。
And after you finish the noodles,
実はこのスープを使ってこの後にまた別の楽しみ方があるんです。はい、ありがとうございま
the
す。
shop attendant brings over
来
something.
ましたね。こちらご飯とチーズですね。これをスープの中に入れます。
For about $1.60, it turns into risotto. The sweetness of the soup and the acidity of the cheese blend together to create a creamy taste.
これだけで主役になれるようなしっかりとしたリゾットですね。
At number 2, We arrive at Ramen Hajime near Ikebukuro.
こちらのラーメンはあるものが乗ったラーメンなんですよね。
So, what kind of topping is it?
乗ってるものはステーキですね。
This is the steak-topped salty flavored ramen.
普通ラーメンっていうのは鶏ガラ豚骨で取るものなんですけど、こちらはじめさんはなんと牛を使ったスープなんです。だからこのね牛のステーキとすごい相性が良くてですね、一体感のあるラーメンに仕上がってるんですよね。
The base flavor of the soup is a salt sauce, to which a broth made from stewed beef and onions is added. It's topped with fried onions and chopped long onions. And what's more, there's a 120-gram medium-rare Japanese steak. It's an extravagant and filling ramen. So, how is it?
牛の出汁と塩でスープをまろやかにする、本当にちょっと洋食によった今までにない味わいの美味しいラーメンになりますね。こちらもしっとり弾力があって。
And what about the steak?
いただきます。この弾力というかしっとりというか、普段ラーメンでは味わえない食感ですよね。こうやって表面だけ焼いてラーメンにのせることによってこのラーメンのスープの熱で徐々に火が入っていく。それでちょうど口に入れるときにミディアムレアくらいでしょうか、食べやすい食感に仕上がるんです。
They also have a popular dish called steak rice. How does it taste?
すごい肉汁がジュワーって出てくるというか、でもさっきのラーメンの時に比べて火がしっかり通ってるんで、噛めば噛むほど肉汁がこういう風に溢れ出てくるね。いやーうまいっすね本当に。
They say many of the customers are men attracted by the concept of steak at a ramen shop. And finally, we unveil our number one ramen. But before that, our expert takes us to a shop that serves a popular noodle dish in Japan. We arrive at Seitoku. So what kind of noodles do they serve here?
お待たせいたしました。つけ麺です。どうぞ。
はい、ありがとうございます。うまそうですね。これが
This is tsukemen, or dipping noodles. Unlike regular ramen, the soup and noodles come in separate bowls.
つけ麺っていうのは麺を温かいスープにつけて食べるという新しい麺料理になりますね。
Here, the soup is made from chicken and pork bones and fish. Once the noodles are boiled, they're immediately cooled with water and served. So,
すごいスープが濃厚でパンチがあるんですけど、聖徳さんのスープってすごいエビの香りがするんですよね。エビのアクセントでですね、最後まで飽きずに食べられるというところが聖徳さんの特徴というところになりますよね。聖徳さんの麺っていうのはこの甘みが特徴なんですよね。歯ごたえが強く力強いんで、本当に噛めば噛むほどですね甘みが出てくるというか、つけ麺っていうのはこの麺の味を味わうことが醍醐味なんですよね。
dipping noodles may be worth a try if you're looking for a slightly different noodle experience. Finally, we unveil the top ramen shop as recommended by Mr. Ishiyama. At number 1.
最後に伺うお店はスープの取り方にこだわったお店になるんです。こちらですね。もう入り口から名前の通りこの魚雷のオブジェがですねありまして、インパクトのある店構えですね。
We arrive at Gyorai, near the Tokyo Dome Baseball Stadium. So what kind of ramen is it?
はい、うわ来ましたね。この綺麗なスープとこの泡。
This is the number one ramen, Hongare Chinese Soba. They say they're quite particular about the soup. Amazingly, they're using a coffee siphon to make the soup. It was originally an idea of the coffee-loving owner who wanted to find a way to incorporate his coffee siphon into the cooking process. As a result, he was able to slowly stew the ingredients and create a rich-tasting soup.
魚雷さんのラーメンは、10種類の、トッピングの中から3種類を選んでこのように、提供してくれます。
To allow customers to customize their ramen, they offer 10 types of toppings, of which you can choose 3, including pak choi, fried pork, quail eggs, and seaweed. So how does a soup made from a coffee siphon taste?
淡麗なスープの中にちょっとこの芳醇な香り、カツオはですね、本当に口の中でビチャビチャビチャっとこの、飛び跳ねるようなカツオの風味が口の中に広がるんですよね。もっちりと弾力がある中に殻ごとひいた小麦も混ぜてるためつぶつぶ感があるんですよね。こうすることで小麦本来の香りが力強く出るんですよね。もう本当にこのねスープ、この麺、具材もう全てにおいて、こだわった、完璧な上品な、醤油ラーメンですね。今回は私がおすすめするラーメン店をご紹介いたしました。日本にはたくさんのラーメン店があります。皆さんもぜひ食べてみてください。
And those were the top ramen in Tokyo as recommended by a ramen expert.
Well, all the shops seems to have their own particular focus, such as soup or toppings. They all look delicious, but I certainly like the one with vegetable toppings.
Yeah, I like the one with the steak on top.
Steak and ramen. Wow, you certainly
High
eat a lot.
calories.
Yes. Well, I know some Japanese ramen shops have an unusual way of attracting customers, right?
That's right. And if you look over here, this is Ichiran, which specializes in pork bone broth ramen and has 40 branches across Japan. And you can see each counter seat is separated by dividers. And this is so that customers can have their ramen in sort of a private space. Apparently, the store installed the dividers after getting requests from customers.
Well, some women in Japan feel uncomfortable going to ramen shops alone, so a service like this would be appreciated by a lot of women, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And this is a ramen shop in Yamanashi Prefecture. And the ramen is actually made by a robot. The order is put into a computer, and a robot starts preparing the soup and boiling the noodles. And everything, including serving, is done automatically. The shop says that they built the robot to reduce the time that customers have to wait for their order.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Well, I hope our viewers try out one of ramen shops in Japan when they visit. After the break, we'll be showing you a popular Japanese documentary program. Stay tuned.
Suzuki Way of Life.
Mitsubishi Electric is helping to change the environment for the better around the world.
Green subway systems in India.
Green air conditioning systems in Singapore.
Eco changes for a greener tomorrow. Mitsubishi Electric.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Professional.
Delicate.
Detailed.
Dedicated.
Speedy.
Adaptable.
Creative.
Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC. Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
We've just added a new power shovel, and it's great.
Really? Who makes it?
Kobelco.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. And let me tell you, its fuel efficiency is incredible.
Oh.
Kobelco's power shovel delivers more while consuming less. Just like my sweetie.
Don't say that.
And powerful too.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
How do we build sustainability into our relationship with Mother Earth? That's Kaiteki, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
The search is on to discover the next creative master of Asia. Japan's leading TV and radio network, TBS, brings to you the Digicon 6 Awards, giving visual artists in Asia an opportunity to create their dreams. Whether it's a short drama, animation, or music video, if it's yours, you may be the next winner of the Digicon 6 Grand Prize. For more details, check out digicon6.com. It's time to create your dreams.
You're watching Channel Japan. In our next segment, we introduce popular Japanese documentary program. Today, it's an episode from Japanese Dream by TBS about a man researching about food safety.
There's a wide variety of mouth-watering foods. But has a thought like this ever crossed your mind?
この貝、生で食べて大丈夫かな?
この椎茸、本当に国産かしら?
Food poisoning cases and fraudulent labeling are widespread. If only we could be sure before putting food in our mouths. There's now a magical technology to do just that. By simply shining a light on food, it's possible to detect bacteria that cause food poisoning and even find out the place of origin. If put into practical use, anyone will be able to confirm that their food is safe to eat. That future may be just around the corner. The person who developed this revolutionary technology is 55-year-old Junichi Sugiyama.
食の安全、信頼というのはもろダイレクトにかかってきますので、やってることが日本の食品産業、農業等に本当役立てば、もう何も言うことないなと。
We follow one man who is shining a light on the future of food.
I have a dream! 今まで科学分析では捉えられなかったことを、光とコンピューターの力でもって浮かび上がらせると。食品にも実は手にあるような指紋っていうのがあるんですね。光でそれを浮かび上がらせるということを行います。
What does it mean to lift a fingerprint of food with light? Right now, he's using the power of light to observe the growth of common bacteria such as E. coli on the surface of beef. Typically, health centers and other institutes wipe bacteria from food and mix or dilute them with agents. This requires significant time and effort in pre-processing and analysis. What's more, the scientists doing the testing need to be experienced and skilled. But why work next to a flame?
落下菌が落ちないというで、これは上昇気流があるので菌が落ちないんですよ。
After spending an entire day culturing bacteria, they have to count the number manually. It seems like very tedious work. But with Mr. Sugiyama's light technology, the process will become dramatically simpler.
光を当てるだけですので、基本的に試薬とかそういったものは一切使いませんので、気破壊で全く資料にタッチせずに測定できます。
It requires almost no time or effort. The magic of light. So what does bacteria growing on the surface of meat look like?
世界初の画像ができるはずです。
期待していいですかね。
はい、楽しみにしててください。
The technology of light can make the invisible visible. He says it's even possible to see where food was produced. Now, Mr. Sugiyama is determining the origin of honey. Last year, Chinese-made honey was found to be mislabeled as Japanese.
偽装がやっぱりあると、業界全体が迷惑を受けるということで、やっぱこういう技術があって判別できればそれだけで抑止効果なんじゃないですか。
In Japan, there are about 5,800 bee farms. Even a single case of improperly labeled honey can damage the reputation of the entire industry.
とにかくお使いになってくれるお客さんが安心して食べれて、そしてうまいって言ってくれるものを提供したいと思うんですよね。
Mr. Sugiyama wants to make the world into a place where such food producers are properly rewarded for their efforts. But how does he plan to spot mislabeled honey from genuine ones when they all look the same? He is currently collecting data from over 200 samples of Chinese and Japanese-made honey. The light is beamed at the honey and the rays reflected to the right are analyzed. The characteristics are then processed into an image. This is the fluorescent fingerprint of honey. In this form, the differences are hard to spot. But after being analyzed by a computer, Japanese and Chinese honey are clearly distinguished. So will the power of light really be able to prevent fraudulent labeling? This world-class technology originally had no connection to food. It was used to analyze cultural treasures. For example, light is beamed at a 17th century woodblock print to determine the plant used to make the pigment. Mr. Sugiyama was enthralled by the technology.
これ面白いなと。その技術自体非常にやっぱりいろんな方向から違いを見つけるという。これ結構食品にも使えるんじゃないかなと。もっと大規模にやろうというのがきっかけですね。はい。
Mr. Sugiyama decided to apply the technology used to evaluate cultural treasures to food. He was convinced that directing light at food from different angles would reveal things that couldn't be seen before. Mr. Sugiyama's flexible mindset is rooted in a Buddhist sutra. To discard all prejudice and preconception. To see things from every angle. That has become his style of research.
一方向からだけじゃなくて自在に見れるようになれば失敗ないんですよ。
Applying that philosophy in his analysis, he will attempt to determine the origin of honey. He tests 240 varieties of honey with the light and succeeds in differentiating Chinese and Japanese-made products with considerable accuracy. A standard to prevent mislabeling is set.
だいたい 90% で分かれられるので
曖昧になる部分は 10% ぐらい。
今までと手法と比べてもいい精度だとは思います。
光だけで本当測定簡単。どれくらいでできますか？
もうやろうと思えば誰でもすぐに。
Mr. Sugiyama takes the results to an organization that evaluates grain quality. This organization has in fact been working to determine the origin of honey for 1 year using a completely different method.
手越しもんでね、できればもうすごい楽なんだなって。
仕事ももうちょっともっと進化しなきゃなと思って。
Mr. Sugiyama shows off his latest results. Most researchers wouldn't rush to publicize their results. Mr. Sugiyama's idea is that everyone must strive for improvement in order for progress to be made.
いろんな面で応用できるのかなと思いますので、非常に期待を持ってます。
ニーズをちゃんと把握している方と一緒にやらないとこういう研究っていうのは進まないなとつくづく感じますね。
Mr. Sugiyama's research continues to evolve with the support of like-minded colleagues. And the growth of bacteria on the surface of beef has finally been captured in an image.
0時間です。ちょうど肉切った直後で菌が非常に少ない状態ですね。
It's possible to see the growth of various bacteria on the surface of the beef. This is the moment that a light shines on a world hidden until now.
生菌数からすると幅広く取れてるんじゃない？ね、綺麗に。これは世界初だと思いますね。我々以外こんなことをやろうなんてそう思う物好きいないと思いますので。
If his research is put into practical use, anyone will be able to check food safety. That future may be just around the corner. On this day, an annual event to publish research results is being held. It is the perfect opportunity for him to show off his work. Various industries have expressed interest in his technology as a way to prevent food poisoning cases and mislabeling.
杉山と言います。
低コストで今いろいろ安全性の問題なんかもあるので、
いろんなところでの可能性は非常に感じられて、
もうちょっと無限に広がるなと、ちょっといろいろと思いつきすぎて。
The reception is bigger than he expected. The hopes of many are placed on the shoulders of a man who wants to realize food safety with the power of light.
そういう技術を早く普及してほしいですね。
いいですやっぱりね。そういうのはもうぜひね、どんどんもう未来と言われてすぐにでも実用化してもらって食文化を守ってもらいたい。食文化。
いやー、なんと感無量ですね。まだまだ僕はやりたいことあるなと。まだまだ続けます。日本の農業食品産業を変えるだけの技術を世の中に生み出したいと。いろんな視野広く持って役に立つことを技術で何とかできたら最高だなと思いますね。
Well, Kitadai-san, if these technologies become more widespread, I think consumers like myself feel a little bit more reassured that the food we are eating is actually safe.
I agree. Yeah, I hope they become more common.
And in Japan, one method to ensure food safety is something called food traceability.
Yes, and food traceability is actually a legal requirement for products such as beef and rice. And if you look over here, this is a package of beef that's sold in Japanese supermarkets. And as you can see, there's a number on the label. And if you go to the distributor's website, you can use that number to find out how old the cattle was. where it was raised, and even who the farmer was.
Well, also in recent years, many major supermarkets have started to indicate the origin of vegetable and seafood on labels as well. And one example is this. This tomato is sold in Japanese supermarket and is their own independent brand called Vegetable with Face.
Yeah.
Yes.
It actually has the cartoon character of the farmer.
Yes, that's
Wow,
right.
impressive.
And on the label, there's QR code, and this is a type of barcode. And if I use the smartphone to this QR code, the smartphone actually gives you the information about the place of origin and the producer.
That's reassuring and very useful. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And looking at these examples, it seems many companies are becoming more proactive in making sure that the food they sell is actually safe for consumers. Well, after the break, we'll be showing you an episode from Popular Economics program. Don't go away.
The Norin Shukin Bank has a mission to fulfill. We are committed to the advancement of agriculture, fisheries, and forestry in Japan. Backing the network of our people and communities to help and support one another is a source of pride for us. This is our style of banking. We're banking on trusted networks. The Norin Shukin Bank.
Changing emissions from copper refineries into fertilizer. That is where Sumitomo Chemical got its start. For 100 years, we've been delivering the power of chemistry around the world. And we will continue to help make the world a better place for the next 100 years and more.
Just a map and a heart full of courage. Our founders started out with little, but they dared to dream big. Today, our reach is global and our resources extensive, but we still have our eyes on the horizon. With courage, reaching out to the world. Mitsui & Company.
My parents work at a really great company, which makes cool computers and LCD TVs. Not only that, they build elevators for skyscrapers and zooming fast bullet trains. My mom designs the company's CT scan systems, which spot diseases. My dad develops power generation systems so people will have plenty of electricity. The company where my parents work is Toshiba.
Has anybody finished doing their pictures?
I have.
All around the world, Toshiba technology is hard at work, bringing smarter, faster, more sustainable development to life.
When I grow up, I want to work for people.
For a growing future, Toshiba.
Perhaps it's true. Perhaps we've been in too much of a hurry. Day by day, technology advances. But sometimes we need to pause and listen to what nature is saying. Surely, steadily, and lovingly. These, we believe, are the essentials of manufacturing. Our technologies, your tomorrow. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese and English, delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next, we'll be showing you an episode from Japanese economics program. Today, it's from Gachiri Monday by TBS. It's about women who work in corporate R&D. Take a look.
Today in Got Chitty Monday, the topic is money-making angels dressed in white. In Japan, nurses are referred to as angels dressed in white. But the money-making angels in white we're talking about are women of science who work in the research and development departments of various companies. We'll find out the secrets to their success. We start our search at Fuji Environment Service in Shizuoka Prefecture. The company is a pest control specialist. They help factories of food makers and others exterminate insects and prevent outbreaks. They are quite well known in the industry. Excuse me, we heard there's a money-making angel in white here.
いますよ。すごい女性がいます。はい。
An amazing woman. Sounds promising. We find her at a desk in the back of a typical-looking office. 39-year-old Makiko Sone is in charge of the technology section and is an 18-year veteran of the company.
どうも、こんにちは。
So, what are you doing right now?
はい、これは、ここのトラップに捕まった虫の種類と数を調べています。
Ms. Sone is Fuji Environment Service's foremost insect professional. Her job is to collect insect traps from customers, such as food factories, and to carefully check what kind of insects were caught and their number. What can she find out by doing this?
虫の種類によって外から飛んで入ってきたのか、それとも中で世代を繰り返しているかを顕微鏡で見ないと判断できないものもいるから。
Once they know the type, they can figure out the route through which the insect entered the factory. Her ability to figure out insect species is why she's called a professional.
例えば目と目の離れ方とか。
目と目と離れ方。
はい。
This is an insect called a red flower beetle, which feeds on rice. Its face looks like this. They look similar to so-called confused flower beetles, but the difference is that one can fly and the other can't. That means if there are many red flower beetles, the entry point may be the factory ceiling. Confused flower beetles mean the floor may be compromised. Ms. Sone figures out the subtle differences to determine which pest control method will be used. But isn't looking at insects up close through a microscope a bit unpleasant? For example, this spider.
顕微鏡で見るとクモなんかは全身に毛が生えていて、ぬいぐるみみたいな感じですよ。
In this room over here, there's an even more shocking sight.
ゴキブリって書いてありますよ。
はい、ゴキブリを飼ってます。
Here, they breed 6 types of cockroaches to check the effectiveness of insecticides, in addition to 5 other varieties. What's more,
はい、うちにも飼ってます。うちに飼ってる？うちに飼ってる。私が飼ってるんじゃないんですけど、夫が飼ってて、私も見たりしてるんですけど。
in their home, they keep 50 cockroaches as pets. Next, we arrive in Abashiri, in the eastern part of Hokkaido. Apparently, there's a money-making angel in white at this farm. Her, but she's not wearing white.
今何なさってるんですかこれ？
西洋わさびの生育調査をしております。
西洋わさびの生育調査。
She is in fact the foremost expert in horseradish research in Japan and works at Kinjirushi Wasabi's Ohotsk Research Institute. 44-year-old Yukie Tamaki is the Institute's research supervisor and usually wears white. Kinjirushi Wasabi's products are found in sushi restaurants and packs of sashimi sold in stores. They are the top maker in Japan of commercial use wasabi with a 40% market share. The horseradish Ms. Tamaki researches is slightly more pungent than wasabi grown in Japan. It's used in the tubes of fresh wasabi sold in stores and indispensable for the Japanese. Ms. Tamaki has actually accomplished a major feat in her horseradish research that hasn't been publicized yet.
西洋わさびはその種を作らないっていう性質があるっていうところを私は種を作り出して交配をさせたっていうところです。
Is producing horseradish seeds such a big deal? We spoke with Meiji University professor Wataru Marubashi.
これってそんなすごいことなんですか？
はい、そう思います。通常西洋わさびは種が取れないという植物として知られていますので、多分その関連の学会で発表すればとても注目を浴びることになるだろうと思います。
Apparently, it is a big deal. Since there were no seeds until now, the roots had to be divided for mass production. In the world of horseradish, her research is groundbreaking.
種ができるための条件っていうのがものすごくたくさんあって、それを全て見つめ直し、全て組み合わせ直し取れるようになりました。
どれぐらいかかったんですか？
これは10年以上かかる。
10年以上？
はい。
They combined and tested various conditions, such as the soil temperature, light exposure, and the amount of water, for over a decade. She agreed to show us the seeds of horseradish, something very few people have seen, even in the scientific community. These are the seeds of horseradish. They look like regular seeds, but using them, it's now possible to improve the quality of horseradish. They've even succeeded in producing a new variety that doesn't have a pungent smell. What does the Institute director think of Ms. Tamaki?
世界一だと思います。世界一？はい。世界一って言われてますよ。
世界一好きなんだと思います。
あ、わさびが。
But with all the time you spend on wasabi,
結婚されてない？
まだできてないですね。
we hope she finds someone spicy like wasabi soon. Next, we arrive at an R&D facility of Omron in Kizugawa, Kyoto. The company makes electronic devices such as thermometers, blood pressure meters, and factory equipment. So what kind of money-making angel in white works at this $6.5 billion company? We're told she's in this laboratory. Inside, it's quite cramped. And this is her. 32-year-old Misato Nabeto is a 9-year veteran of the company. She is also a mother of a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So, what does she do here?
振動発電デバイスの開発になります。
What are vibration power generation devices?
我々の周りに日常的に存在します微弱な振動から電気を作り出す技術になります。
Sounds a bit technical. We asked her to show us how it works. This is the device.
見た目では全くわからないんですけれども、実はここの台が振動しておりまして、触ってやっとわかる程度の微弱な振動がかすかに揺れています。
本当だ、揺れてますね。
そちらの振動から電気を作り出しまして、ちょっと 見づらいんですけれども、こちらの LED が赤く点灯しているのがご覧いただけると思います。
She's right. It's on. According to her explanation, two plates inside move when a vibration is detected, generating electricity. So how are these devices used? For example, they're attached on a bridge together with sensors to detect distortions and vibrations of the concrete. Then, when a vehicle passes over the bridge, the vibration generates electricity, which powers the sensors. If any abnormalities are detected, the data is immediately sent to relevant authorities. The sensors don't need a power source and can be used over a long period of time. Ms. Nabeto is a vibration power generation specialist. Her biggest strength is her tenacity. When told that the plates couldn't produce any more electricity, she studied the design over and over again. By slightly adjusting the length and width of the electrodes, she made the device generate 1.7 times more electricity with the same amount of vibration.
ちょっとずつは高くできております。そこに私がちょっと貢献させていただいております。
She wants to raise the power generation amount even more and eventually apply the technology to mobile phones.
私はもうこの技術の開発をさせてもらって本当に面白い開発をさせていただいて幸せです。はい。
She certainly looks fulfilled. They say vibration power generation will grow into a billion-dollar business over the next 10 years. Next, we arrive at the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, or JAXA, in Tsukuba, Ibaraki Prefecture. This is the backbone of Japan's space business. A money-making angel in white apparently works here. We asked some JAXA employees about her.
頭いいですね。非常に賢いです。
私にとって頼りになる女性の先輩で、やっぱ憧れの先輩なんですよ。
This highly respected money-making angel is working in this room today. And this is her, 33-year-old Erika Myojin, an engineer with the Space Applications Mission Directorate. What is she doing now?
こちらの部屋では導きという2年前に打ち上げた衛星なんですけども、その衛星の運用をしております。導き。はい。
Ms. Myojin was a member of the development team for Japan's first navigation satellite, Michibiki, which was launched in 2010. This is the Operation Control Center. If you use a Michibiki-linked car navigation system, the margin of error of location data is reduced to within 1 meter compared to 10 meters before. Ms. Myojin was in charge of developing.
私の担当としては衛星の熱制御っていうのも担当してましたね。
What's a thermal control system? Apparently, they're in the midst of conducting an experiment, so we have a look. What is this?
これスペースチャンバーって言われる衛星の熱制御を確認する試験設備ですね。今蓋が閉まった状態なんですけども、この中は宇宙空間を模擬してまして、宇宙空間っていうと非常に冷たくて真空でっていう環境を模擬している試験設備になってます。
Behind this cover, it's space. A vacuum with temperatures of minus 200 degrees Celsius. It's used for experiments such as subjecting satellites to sudden heat and cold to check that the equipment functions properly. Satellite development is often said to begin and end with heat. Thermal control is critical. Ms. Myojin has achieved that with flying colors. The difficulty of controlling the temperature of satellites is
太陽を浴びますと、やっぱり衛星のその太陽を浴びてる面はプラス100度ですとか、そういう過酷な環境になって、逆に太陽が当たらない面はマイナス100度とか。
In space, temperatures between places in the sun and in the shade can differ by over 200 degrees. The satellite is designed to automatically switch on a heater if the temperature falls too low. But the difficulty is when it suddenly becomes too hot.
あ、でファンを回すというのもなんですよ、空気がないのでないんですよ本当に冷やせないんです本当に。
If there's no air, fans won't work. So,
放熱面を設けて外にその宇宙は冷たいですからその冷たい面に向かって排熱するとか。
sounds extremely difficult. We asked Ms. Myojin's boss about her.
表現は適切ではないかもしれないんですけども、男らしいというかですね、そのくらい頼りになる存在かなと。
男らしいって言われてますよ。
ねえ、私男らしかったでしたっけ
No, we don't think so. Ms. Myojin is a money-making angel that's sure to carry JAXA into the future.
Well, as a woman myself, seeing other women on the front lines of scientific research is very encouraging.
I agree.
Well, Kitadai-san, there are various initiatives in Japan to encourage more women to work in R&D, right?
And if you look over here, numerous companies have been actively recruiting women scientists, and there's an award given out once a year in recognition of their achievements.
I see.
This is Haruka Kakuno, one of last year's recipients. She's doing research to turn seawater into fresh water. And this is Akemi Takata. She was awarded for her research in prevention and treatment of liver cancer.
Wow. Well, I have no doubt that we'll be seeing more women working in the R&D field in the future. Well, that's all for this edition of Channel Japan. I hope you enjoyed the show. We have much more in store for you, so don't forget to tune in.
Hey, look at this. They're building a huge steel plant with Kobelco technology.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. They can make iron with incredible speed. What once took 8 hours can be done in just 10 minutes.
Wow, the Japanese are incredible. The country of karate.
Ha! 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 Karate has nothing to do with it.
True.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Professional.
Delicate.
Detailed.
Dedicated.
Speedy.
Adaptable.
Creative.
Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC. Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
Since ancient times, these massive stones have been bathed in sunlight. Local rituals, dating back to prehistoric times, attest to man's respect for the sun's power. The sun continues to nourish us, always, everywhere.
Today, Panasonic is helping people reduce CO2 emissions with solar panels and other energy management technologies. Panasonic, ideas for life.
How do we build sustainability into our relationship with Mother Earth? That's Kaiteki, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
Channel Japan. Direct from Tokyo to the world. Get the latest stories from Japan as they happen on the ground. Business, fashion, culture, and food. Everything you need to know about the hottest trends across the country. Channel Japan.